So now I'm kind of carefully seeing where the plant wants to be divided. You can kind of a lot of times find kind of like natural points where you're going to break them. You want to make sure the pieces aren't too small. You want to have them, a decent sized root ball with it when you're all said and done. And then you can decide too, if maybe you want a couple of larger plants, so you leave this all together as opposed to, something a little bit smaller like this. But you still find you still have a really nice growing point here coming, and that'll do really well. It's like, for instance, something like this, you might be getting a little small, but then what I would do with that is when you're replanting it, just plant it with another one close by, so it adds a nice clump. So then, some of this is pretty woody, so it's hard to pull apart with your hands. So then you want to take a really nice sharp pair of pruners that you've sterilized and cleaned, so you're not spreading any potential diseases to the plant you're dividing. And then I just kind of try to get in there with the pruners and try to make it a little easier for me to get in there and then break it apart. And it's pretty woody, these stems. There we go. So just kind of break that apart, and here you can see where it's separated from the mother plant. Try to pull that apart. Kind of look at this a little bit more. See, here's one that's kind of falling off. So I'll pull that one off, separate that out, and then sure that that's nice and clean. You don't really want a jagged cut. I then typically I'll go back in and just make cleaner cut on the surface, and then just continue to kind of look, see if you want to take any more off. This you may want to just leave it as a big one, but you can come back in here and continue to cut it and separate out a few more plants like you have here. And then I might be tempted to leave this as one big one that'll establish a little bit faster and give you a nice big clump next spring. So the fall is like a great time to divide plants. The temperatures are cooler. Typically there's a lot of, we're starting to get more moisture in the ground, but there's still plenty of time to divide certain perennials, split them up, and then get them back in the ground, and they get a chance to get established before the ground freezes, and then we get into winter. So I cut those off. So then what that's doing is, if you leave these, they're going to continue to flower. They're going to set seed, and that takes a lot of energy to form seed. So by removing the flowers, the plant then will not set seed, and all that energy that would typically be focused on seed production now back into developing a stronger root system and a fuller plant for next spring, and it'll get established faster this fall in the ground and reduce the chances of frost heaving. So then this, you discard the flowers. You can look, see if you do have a lot of foliage. If some are broken, I might come in and clip off a few of the leaves. Again, what that does is that reduces the amount of foliage that you have and cuts down on the amount of transpiration that the plant will go through, so it won't lose as much water with a less of a leaf surface exposed. Decide if you want where you want this to be in a new garden bed. Dig your hole, put it in. You're going to want to plant it right at the same level that it was where it was originally in the ground. Don't bring soil up to cover the crown like this. Keep it right in this region, and then water it in thoroughly. And if we don't get regular rains, I would check it periodically and water it in, and you'll be delighted next spring, and you'll have extra Actea japonica scattered through your gardens.